Hi everyone, it is Jeremy Reynolds here from Alpha Finance Solutions. I want to answer a question for you today in as much detail as I can, but also making sure that I'm not getting too specific so certain things may or may not apply to you. And this is one of the big questions that I get asked all the time. Number one is, what's the best interest rate you can get me? Okay, and here's the next question I often get asked. How fast can you get my home loan approved? First of all, why do you need your home loan approved so quickly might be a really important question. And if you're not asking that question, I'm going to give you a little bit of depth on that, because you really do need to be looking for efficiency in there. Often people, when they're looking at, say, a refinance, and I'll focus on that because it often has very simple variables here. We're looking at, I'm paying this interest rate this at the moment, and the brokers talk to me and I'd like to be paying this interest rate. As a result, my monthly spend is going to go down by this amount. The brokers work this out for you. Now that's often where it stops. So you have the person that goes, well, this mortgage broker really is trying to get this done quickly, but I'll get around to it. I'll do the things I need to when I need to. Why does it need to happen quickly? If we project that you could be saving $200 per month on interest rate charges, and the approval time is a long period of time, you've got to consider what you could potentially losing. What if you lose another $300? That's money that's just thrown away into the ether that you could unnecessarily be paying, that going to a bank, could be in your pocket, or could be paying down the principal of your existing loans. This is one reason to get it down faster. Another reason why getting a home loan approved quickly might be vitally important is because you're buying a home. If you're buying a home and you've got a lot of different people concerned in this going on. There's the buyer. You want to get into that house as soon as possible. You want to stop renting. You want to get into the house. But you need to convince some people that you have got what it takes to be suitable to buy the house. In other words, where's the money? So, and they're going to be asking, well, provide evidence. Where is the money? Show me the money, if you want to coin an old phrase. How do we do this? So in other words, we've got the real estate agent who's representing the vendor, and they've presented your offer. Now you've signed a contract to purchase, you've put some money, a down payment down. Now there's some clauses in there as well, subject to finance, which is a really good aspect to have in there. But then, so in other words, given that you've exhausted all avenues to get the finances for this loan, and if you have exhausted all avenues and you cannot secure the finance, there's an opt-out. I'll give you a shortened version of those clauses. But what about this? I'm the real estate agent talking to the vendor, and that's the person selling. Is this person going to pull out? Does this person really have the means to pay this loan? How can we do this? How late can we leave it? How do we prove it? This is by a finance date in there. The finance date is a date in there to say, well, we want to ensure that you have finance secured by this particular date in writing, something like unconditional formal approval, to give enough time between then and settlement date. Why? Because if your finance falls over, sure, you lose the property as the person buying. That's unfortunate, but at the same time, it can be a very expensive ordeal for the vendor. They've literally probably taken it off the market. They've told other people, no, you can't get it. They might have lost sale to other people. So a good real estate agent will want the confidence to say, well, let's get a finance date in place and let's make an appropriate date. And you know what? There's a lot of people interested in this property, so we need it by this time frame, which is that now where the rubber hits the road. The rubber hits the road knowing that coming to see one of my team, we're going to ask these very questions. When do you need the finance secured by? We do have a date, we don't have a date. Needless to say, we will do whatever it takes to happen as quickly as we can. Now, there's many things that we can control. to help this go as fast as possible. First of all, when we're comparing interest rates between banks, we're also going to look at approval times, if this is a key function. If it's not, don't worry about it. We're just going to look at getting you that best rate for your particular needs. But if timing is critical as well, and you can lose a lot by the timing, we'll look at, okay, of washing our list of funders and talking to all of these different banks about, okay, who's got the best rates and who's the fastest of approval time. First of all, our badge products are extremely fast to get approved. So that's the first thing. Second of all is education. Education coupled with your motivation as a buyer. It's very much a real estate lingo, isn't it? You know, is the buyer motivated? Is the vendor motivated? You know, seller. So let's consider that. First of all, you're going to be motivated. You need to get this loan done, but we're going to spell it out really clearly. If you don't get it done by that date, there may be some penalties for you. They might actually get you to pay some penalty fees. Why? Because it's costing them money. Worst case, you might lose the property and you might lose your deposit, depending on the agreement that you entered into. So what do? You're motivated, you know these things have to happen. We've got to educate you as well. We want you to do the minimum amount that you need to, as our client, to get your loan. The minimum. Why? We want to take the hard work out of it for you. However, there's certain things that we're going to instruct you to do and make really easy for you to do so you can get your loan as fast as possible. You know, it's really interesting. As a seasoned mortgage broker, as someone that's worked and trained and mentored dozens and dozens of mortgage brokers, I'll tell you what the most difficult thing to getting a loan approved is. Getting documentation from the client, you. You go, well, that must be easy. Now, and you go, well, that doesn't seem hard. The issue is actually with those brokers, not with you, by the way. The reason the issue is with the broker, because they probably haven't spelt out exactly what you need to provide and when they need it and the consequences of not providing it. Talking to clients that have come over from other brokers said, I wasn't happy, it took a long time and all these things happened, then there may have been some things missing from the client. Did you fully understand what you need, what they are? Did they communicate with you regularly to let you know what you needed to do? Not really. Did they explain it? Did they make it easy? No. And it took a really long time to get my loan approved. And then at the end, they blamed me for not getting the loan approved because they said I didn't provide certain things. It's actually the onus is on us as the brokers to make sure you know what to do, and whether we need to go pick those things up from you, whether we need to get them, we're going to communicate with you throughout the process to meet that finance date. And you know what? And exceed it. Beat it wherever we can as well. That's really important. Because for an educational perspective, a bank won't look at a loan until they've got all the docs. So we can't send in half your paperwork and expect them to give us an answer. It's not a matter of we can provide that later. We provide everything at once, and if we've provided everything at once, you can get your loan assessed really quickly. Now that's important. Next facet of how you can get your loan quickly as well is let's try and take control of some of those dates and timings for you. So with an obligation-free consultation from one of my team, we're going to explain to you, well, I'm looking at buying this house. And these are this, that, and the other. First of all, we might come with a harsh reality, which we'll tell you in the first meeting. That's not enough time to get the loan done at this stage. Let's speak to the real estate agent immediately. If we speak to the real estate agent immediately, we're going to find out the motivation, the reasoning, the rationale from them for that date. Why is this date important? Why do you need it by then? Well, it's a ballpark for us. We thought that would be suitable. Okay, we have the ability to get the finance approved with this person. However, it will take longer. I will stay in contact with you. Are we able to get an extra week on that? Yes, no, what can we do to adjust that? How helpful is that, rather than losing to another willing buyer purely based on a broker communicating ineffectively? And a lot of times I say, no, that date wasn't a pressing date. Well, that's what we thought. An extra week? Sure. When can you get the finance approved by? And then we'll communicate with the real estate agents through the process, so they don't get concerned. They're not hammering you for information as the client, and we can absolutely give you those insights quite directly about it. So when we're getting your home loan approved the fastest, just recapping, because we've got people coming on all the time to this call, finding out the motivation for that. Why is that date important? How do you get that date? Comparing our funders for, first of all, best rate. Second of all, approval times, because time is money. And if we can save you money in the time frames, excellent. Next of all, communicating with the real estate agents as your advocate here. Why? Because the real estate agent's representing the vendor, we're representing you for your credit needs, and then working out, first of all, is that finance date suitable? Can we negotiate that? Can we bump it on a little bit? Or if not, do we have to take some drastic action to get your loan approved even quicker? Because sometimes a lot of the different people that I've worked with that are buying a home, and the real estate agent is more than comfortable to extend a settlement date if you can meet and provide evidence of a finance date. Now, I've had many cases where it hasn't even been approved unconditionally. However, in those cases, knowing the timeframe's critical, I will always ensure that not just you, the client, but the real estate agent is provided with updates, with negotiated timeframes. Now, no one wants to be annoyed, bothered, but if things are getting, there's a lot of pressure, and we work out, well, I'm going to let you know where this is at and give you some outcomes, an update every 48 hours, maybe 3 days, 4 days, tighten that up as it gets closer to that. Would that help you? Would that help you give something to the vendor? Why? Because good real estate agents are required to do the same thing with the vendor. And this is tough for that vendor. If they have to go back, for the real estate agent, if the real estate agent has to go back to the vendor and they don't have anything to tell them or any update to provide them, they're going in empty-handed, and it infuriates that seller. It makes him lose confidence in the real estate agent. So as with myself or one of my team representing you, helping you with your loan, if we're providing regular updates to that real estate agent, it makes sure that the real estate agent and the vendor are confident moving forward. And this is more of a real collaborative approach there. And it comes down to them being educated, them being informed, and really, really strong communication. Now that does, in essence, communicate what we're doing in the approval time. Now, if you are wanting a home loan at the best possible rate, and you're wanting that approved in the quickest possible time, please contact me directly, Jeremy Reynolds, on 1300 541 777 for an obligation-free consultation with myself or one of my senior team, and we'll make sure that we help educate you, provide you insights, and give you really good direction on what we can do to help you with your loan. Thanks, I'm Jeremy Reynolds, and as always, you've been an absolutely sensational audience.